Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sadhana, and I am so excited to be sharing these cards with you today. Fantastic Being is the third and final installment in the nature-inspired oracle card series by creator Rebecca LeFebvre of aveclavie.com. These cards are so beautiful, thought-provoking, inspiring, and intended to make life happen, to get charged and ignite. I'm showing you today two versions of the deck. On the left is the full size cards, and on the right is the mini deck. They are the same paper quality. One has large rounded corners, one has square corners, one is borderless, and one has a small border. The mini deck is just a perfect traveling size deck. Fits beautifully into a small pouch, which I have been carrying around with me since I got it a few days ago. Anyway, so excited to share this with you. These are the title cards, and I will pause and show you a few of the features, comment on some of the particular entries. I'm just really excited about this deck. So the first card is Anemone, Letting Go. I do want to show you that like her previous two decks, on the back of the large cards, we do have an elemental association. And towards the end of the video, I will just pull out and show you the cards by element. You get the same content on the back of the large cards that you do on the mini deck. But for photographic reasons, I'm just going to show you the large cards. And the color, I suppose I should show you the color, it's identical to my eye anyway. It's identical. And I will read in full some of the descriptions so you can get a flavor for how Rebecca writes and how you could use these cards. Whether you are a fan of Rebecca's work or you're new to her creations, I hope that you feel inspired by this deck. Anglerfish, Adaptation. Axolotl, Regeneration. It hurts to be hurt and to lose the things you value. The humans you loved, the homes you nurtured, the animals you cherished, the plans you had, and the years that passed season after season. And yet, even after the pain and the endless tears, you can muster your reserves and regenerate yourself, revamp, remold, refresh your life, refuse the discomfort, reject the consumption. Repeat this mantra to yourself when the task or the days are hard and your heart is weak. I am brave. I am strong. I can do this. One of the things I like about the artwork is that in many of the cards, we're just seeing a piece of the fantastic being. Baobab. This reminds me a little bit of a plant that I have growing in my house, which is like this. It looks like it's growing upside down with the roots above and the trunk below. Bigfoot. You're going to see a lot of cards in this deck that you will have never seen in any deck. Blue Glaucus. At the whim of the sea, this tiny blue dragon makes its way floating upside down as it traverses the ocean. Though buoyant and exposed to the world above, it has acquired unsuspecting defenses against the challenges it faces. Immune to the Portuguese man-o-war, the blue glaucus consumes its host and stores the venom for protection. From this we can learn a lesson or two. This is exceedingly complicated, but we can thrive despite the odds, expose your weaknesses, and transform them into your greatest strengths. Cedar waxwing, breathe. Senescence, love that keyword. comet, cyanobacteria, dragon blood tree. I love that she's included species of trees and water creatures and creatures of the air. This is really interesting. Epiphytes, harmony. Epiphytes such as mosses, orchids, and air plants and bromeliads grow on other plants but do not take from them. Instead, they live in harmony with their environment, surviving by acquiring water and nutrients from the air while offering essential elements back to their supportive host. As you consider the factors required for your survival within your family, your community, or where you work, ask yourself how you can live in harmony with those systems and then consciously and purposefully work to create that balance. I mean, just imagine if this card came up in a card combo reading with the Temperance card. These are really, really thoughtful choices that she made in putting this deck together. Fairy, mysticism. Fata Morgana. So not only is this associated, of course, with Morgan Le Fay, but also the sense of illusion and those things that we kind of glean out of the corner of our eyes. Not everything is as it appears, even when you think you could swear by it. Some things are just not right, and some things are not true, like those hazy water mirages on hot summer days and cargo ships hovering on the horizon. When you discover you have traveled deep into the woods, miles upon miles down a long, winding, incongruous road that has left you empty and torn, stop and recalibrate. Shake it up and turn yourself around. Tip everything over and upside down or right side up and create a path that is true to you. Flying fish remind me of the movie, The Life of Pi, the magical special effects that were created. Lasting impression. Gaia. Green Man. There we go. There's Green Man. Beautiful painting. Griffin. Gruidae. Halitraphus mossy. These stunning jellyfish that live in the midnight zone. I believe also known as firework jellyfish. Horseshoe crab. Human. Jackalope. Amazing choice of keyword, the way this is described and written. Komodo Dragon. I'm not sure if I already said, I love that we just get a piece of some of the beings. Powerful. And as I was going through the deck, I went back and looked at some of my photographs from different trips to India because I've seen lots of different species of monkey, but I don't think I've ever seen a langur. Lava star. Yes, lava star is the sun, but it is illuminating and bright when we open the window and allow light in. Rename things. Give new meanings a try. Leafy sea dragon. This was a new one for me, and I went to Google and looked it up, and I watched a video. Oh my God, these creatures are amazing. This is actually a kind of seahorse that looks like the algae and the plant life in the ocean. Loch Ness monster. Lotus tree. Luna mouth. It's a great key phrase. In a flash. Manatee. This makes me smile, this card. Manatees are non-territorial marine mammals. They have no need to lead or to be followed. Wherever they are is where they reside. This creature is a salient symbol of mindfulness. If you are not happy in your present state, traveling to a new destination will not invoke happiness that did not exist before. Finding true satisfaction requires a holistic approach to life. Have you tended to your heart center? Is achieving contentment an arduous and elusive endeavor? Then do not delay. Prioritize yourself. Mermaid. Believe. The siren of the sea. Moai. Love, love, love. So many. Her choices are just amazing. Monarch Butterfly. The moon. So that's great. We have in this deck the sun, the moon, and the stars. And comet, I believe. And comet. Narwhal. I love the choice of color on the horn. Simplify. Nautilus. I also watched a video on these creatures too, floating in the sea. And I like it too when I get a new oracle deck and I actually learn something. It's great. Ouroboros. Pangolin. Protection. And including this card in the current state of affairs in 2020, I think is pretty brilliant as well. Pegasus. When I first looked at these cards, it was in dim light. I was in my bed, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what I was looking at in this card. Gorgeous, gorgeous mane and wings. Phoenix. Platypus. Love the expression, the face, captivating. Rainforest, reciprocity. Gorgeous, gorgeous picture. And even in the little card, here I'll show you the little card, you don't really lose anything when the size of the artwork is reduced. They're really beautiful. Sand dollar. When I think of sand dollar, I also think of fragility, because they break so easily. Scarab. It's a really neat perspective. Sequoia. We have 3 trees, I believe, in this deck. Sloth. Here's another one with a really interesting perspective. Comfort. Taking it slow is the life of a sloth, and that is okay. A lot of us could take that mantra for our own Sphinx. Stars. Stone circle. As I go through these, I'm in my mind thinking, which tarot deck am I going to pair these with first? Because I'm feeling so inspired to read with these cards. And if you watch my channel, you know I love to pair oracle and tarot cards. And when I saw tardigrade was included in this deck, I was just beaming from ear to ear. This reminds me of a fellow yoga teacher named Joseph. And I had never, ever heard of tardigrade. We were on a break during a yoga teacher training, and he was going on about stepping on the moss and killing the tardigrade. And we had a little lesson during our break about all of the microorganisms that live in the moss and different places between the cracks in the sidewalk, and how we all need to be more mindful about these beings. Tree of Life. Unicorn. And Willow. Grace. So now I'm going to separate the cards into their suits, and we can have a look at the cards by element. Before we get to the cards in the element of Earth, I thought I'd read what's on the back of the title card, starting with the second sentence. This deck is written to inspire creativity, ignite your imagination, and manifest your dreams. You have the power within to turn your goals into reality. It is easier than you think. Manifestation requires a pinch of planning, an ounce of personal permission, and a strong dose of self-trust. With tenacity and perseverance, you can achieve most anything your heart desires. Grab fear and toss it out the door. Simplify those big goals. Check off your micro tasks. And before you know it, you'll be headed in the direction of your dreams. Let's do this. Avec la vie, with life, Rebecca LeFebvre. Collaborative art by Phoebe Hunt. Illustrations and Rebecca LeFebvre, watercolor and design. Written by Rebecca. These are the beings in the suit of Earth. Sequoia, praying mantis, pangolin, langur, griffin, Gaia, green man, stone circle, chrysalis, cyanobacteria, and horseshoe crab. Again, like I did in the Fauna Inspirations video, I'm going to just pull out the ones that I think are worthy of discussion as far as the element that they're associated with. And in the element of water, sand dollar, rainforest, platypus, nautilus, narwhal, flying fish, mermaid, willow. I don't think I quite counted the number of trees, right? The leafy sea dragon, Fata Morgana, axolotl, love this little guy, and the anglerfish. In the element of fire, phoenix, ouroboros, manatee, Komodo dragon, Loch Ness monster, lotus tree, tardigrade, lava star, jackalope, Halitraphis masi, and anemone. And in the element of air, we have the stars, moon, comet, monarch butterfly, Fairy, Cedar Waxwing, Baobab, Dragon Blood Tree. I can really see these trees reaching for the, both of these trees feel to me like Kundalini energy. So deeply connected below and above, and they're both kind of upside down like the tree of life. Really interesting that these trees are included. Blue Glaucus, Epiphytes, which makes perfect sense for air, and Gruidae. And in the element of spirit, Tree of Life, Sphinx, Pegasus, Luna Moth, Human, Scarab, Sloth, that's an interesting choice, putting that in spirit, Unicorn, Elements, Blue-footed Booby, Bigfoot, and Moai. This is the box for the full-size cards, same as the Flora Inspirations and the Fauna Inspirations, 2-part box. Really nice quality. And the mini deck does not come with a bag or a little white book. I will show you the accordion little pamphlet that comes with the cards, how to use your deck. This has been updated since the release of this deck. So in this little pamphlet, you have information about all of the decks, as well as how to use any of the decks. Contemplative writing, daily contemplation, intention setting. And then if you look at the pamphlet here, Rebecca outlines her intention for the 3 decks. The Fauna deck was meant to bring awareness, get inspired. The Flora deck, preparation, do your work, explore your stuff, and then Fantastic Being, action, make life happen. One of the things I am really enjoying with these decks is how they provoke conversation and how the integration of the elements can be brought in when I'm reading these cards with tarot cards. When I look at the manatee and I look at the weight and the energy, I feel really, really grounded. And that might come through in any particular reading. Rebecca chose to use the element of fire here. And so that something in this message here may connect you to the element of fire. Glancing at the keyword, I want to connect this to the element of air. But the manatee is a marine mammal, so why is the marine mammal not in the element of water? And I think these are all really useful conversations that we can have with ourselves and with our journaling and with the surrounding cards. The tardigrade is a tiny little organism that lives, like I said, in the moss or in other tiny plant life. And so why is it not associated with the earth in this deck? Why did the creator also choose fire for this particular one? And perhaps that's the association with the keyword defiance. And so the creator may find that the tardigrade inspires that fire, that action that needs to happen. And so this element was associated with it. And I think, again, this is up to you to bring in, to learn to be flexible and to learn to read as you need to read and to not get stuck on little white books and associated meanings and keywords. And sometimes when I'm reading oracle cards, I completely ignore the keywords because there is a color or there is a shape or there is something that is more important at that time for that particular reading. And these cards do a really good job with that. They help me to remind myself of this and to not get hung up on, I don't have to turn over the back of the card. I can allow the color or I can allow the energy of the painting to flow. Like here is the griffin And the griffin is mythical being. I've never seen one in the ether or anywhere. Not associated with spirit, associated with earth. So let's have that conversation. And here we have the anemone, not associated with water, but associated with fire as well too. So these are really beautiful journal prompts. And so I hope this has inspired some conversation, and I really look forward to chatting with you in the comments below. And the final thing I want to mention is that coming up on my channel is a new series called Creator Stories. And my first guest is going to be Rebecca LeFebvre, creator of Fantastic Being, Flora Inspirations, and Fauna Inspirations. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Stay well, and namaste.